if you expect what's called constant growth. In this problem now, I'm going to show you how you value common stock if you expect what's known as supernormal growth or non-constant growth. And this problem reads as follows. It says Newman Manufacturing is considering a cash purchase of the stock of Grips Tool. During the year just completed, Grips earned $4.25 per share and paid a cash dividend of $2.55 per share. D0 is $2.55. Grips earnings and dividends are expected to grow at 25% a year for the next 3 years, after which they're expected to grow at 10% per year to infinity. Now, by that they mean they expect 3 years of supernormal growth and then a return to normal growth from then out. What is the maximum price per share that Newman should pay for Grips if it has a required return of 15% on investments with risk characteristics similar to that of Grips? Now, again, this is a problem dealing with supernormal growth. And as I told you in your notes and in the previous videos now, when you have supernormal growth, there's really 3 steps that you have to go through now. The first step is to forecast your dividends. And the dividends that you need are the dividends you expect during supernormal growth, and then 1 dividend past that. The second step is to find the present value of all the dividends received during supernormal growth, which in this case is years 1, 2, and 3. And the third step, you find the present value of all the dividends received after supernormal growth. As a student, you understand that there's 2 time periods here. There's the period of supernormal growth and a period after that. So we're basically going to find the present value of all the dividends in each of those periods. We're going to add all that together. That's the present value of all future dividends. That's the intrinsic value of the stock. Now, in this problem that we're working here now, this is Grips Tool. They tell us that the current dividend is $2.55. And then we expect growth of 25% every year for 3 years. So how do we find the dividends we expect to get during supernormal growth? Well, if we take D0 and multiply it by 1 plus the growth rate, we get D1. So D1 is D0 multiplied by 1 plus the growth rate. So $2.55 multiplied by 1.25 gets us $3.19. D2 comes off a base of D1. So to get D2, we multiply D1, $3.19, times the expected growth rate, which again, 25%. So $3.19 times 1.25 gets us D2 of $3.98. D3, on the other hand, comes off a base of D2. So you take D2, multiply that by 1 plus the growth rate, or $3.98 times 1.25, get $4.98. Now, those are the 3 dividends you expect to get during supernormal growth. But you're going to need the dividend past that. After D3 now, the company's going to grow at 10% per year forever, is what they're telling us. To get D4 now, we're going to come off the base of D3. So we multiply D3 times 1 plus our expected growth rate, which is now 10%. So if you take $4.98 multiplied by 1.10, you get $5.48. So those are the dividends we need to forecast. The dividends during supernormal growth, and then 1 dividend past that. Second step, find the present value of the dividends received during supernormal growth. I want you to note there are 3 dividends received during supernormal growth. They're all lump sum cash flows. So to find their present value, we'd multiply each one by the appropriate PVIF, your present value interest factor. So the first dividend we're going to multiply by our PVIF at 1 15%, which turns out to be 0.8696. 0.8696 times $3.19 gives us $2.77. That's the present value of the first dividend. The second dividend, $3.98, we multiply by our PVIF at 2 15%, or 0.7561. And that gives us a present value of $3.01. The The third dividend, we multiply by our PVIF at 3 and 15%, which is 0.6575. And that would give us a present value of $3.27. So if you added up these three numbers right here, that's the present value of dividends received during supernormal growth. Third step, what's the present value of the dividends received after supernormal growth? Now, just conceptually now, we're standing there December 31, year 3. We look out into the future, and we see constant growth of 10% per year forever. Well, the first thing you do, you find the price of the stock at the end of supernormal growth, which in this case is the T3, the end of the third year. So we're looking for the price at the end of the third year. It's going to be constant growth. We're going to use our constant growth model. We don't want the current dividend, D3. We want the next dividend, D4. And we're going to divide that by K minus G. G being our constant growth rate, which we expect to be 10%. We still require a 15% return. Take $5.48, divide by 0.15 minus 0.10, you get $109.60. This is the value of all dividends received after supernormal growth, but valued 3 years from now. We don't want it valued 3 years from now, we want it valued today. So we take this lump sum cash flow, multiplied by our PVIF at 3 and 15%, which is 0.6575, and we get $72.06. Common mistake that's made, students see that these are the same interest factors, and they'll make this, n equal to 4 or something else. Are they the same interest factors? Yes, indeed they are. Okay. That's the present value of all dividends received after supernormal growth. Add that to the present value of the dividends received during supernormal growth, and you find the intrinsic value of the stock, which is $81.11. And again, this is the most you'd be willing to pay for the stock. This is stock valuation with supernormal growth or non-constant growth.